lot has changed since then.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and now that I'm looking at it, I'm pretty sure we only had one lesson last month.
Oh, all right. Yeah, yeah. It was. I just literally looked at the Slippy VODs you sent, and it was Falco.
Okay, yeah. Now I remember. I've been struggling with Falco.
Mm-hmm.
And since that matchup or since that lesson, I don't really think that well, I think things have changed gameplay wise, but
Yeah.
the struggle is still there.
Mm-hmm.
Um so I started going to a local, and at every one of those locals I have ran into the same Falco player and I've lost to the same Falco player.
Mm-hmm.
I've yet to take a game, but uh I don't I don't think that it's been Falco
Mm-hmm.
or them, to be honest. I think it's been issues with my mentality.
Okay.
Um, but I have been playing that matchup a lot. I've been working on like my out of shield in the matchup.
Mm-hmm.
I this past month has I've been working on like wave shine out of shield a lot, which I never did before. Like
Yeah.
I just didn't have that in my repertoire. Uh, Now I do, so that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, I have a VOD
Okay.
actual recording of me and that Falco playing
Nice.
that we could look at.
Yeah, I'm down.
Um,
I know that in one of our earlier lessons, you talked about how like with tournaments you found it hard to focus because all the different what's it called, like distractions and stuff. Do you feel like you've
yeah.
made any progress with that, or is it still kind of fucky?
Um, it's still there, but it's not as bad, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely still a thing. I think that the biggest thing that I do is here's something that happened at the last tournament. My last tournament, this one, was really bad.
Mm-hmm.
I like I had a really bad time afterwards where I was like, why am I even playing this game? Like I should just quit.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. Um, I the conclusion I came to was that when I play, I think that there's multiple kinds of stressors and pressures that I feel, and a lot of it is stuff that I deal with when I play just like practice or like a an isolated setting,
Yeah.
or when I play versus like people in friendlies. I feel all of those different kinds of pressures, uh, like the ability to like uphold a certain standard of tech skill. Like if I'm missing my wave shines out of shield, for example, like that's something that stresses me out.
Yeah.
Or if I'm missing my tech chases, or if I am, like I'm not able to tech chase off of up smash, or if I'm not able to up air Falco on the platform after I up throw him there.
Yeah.
Like things like that lead to stress.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that when I play in tournament, the tournament pressure basically like amplifies that like tenfold.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And I find it really hard to practice dealing with tournament pressure when I'm also dealing with those things,
Yeah.
or like discerning between what is tournament pressure and what is just other kinds of pressure that I need to deal with on like my own time, you know?
Yeah. 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 I think that all makes sense. I feel like I think the core, like the biggest thing to like kind of take away or like fix, I quote unquote fix, or like, try and do something about is like when you like have like the kind of baseline stressors with playing, it's like, oh, I'm missing my tech skill in this way, or I'm missing that. I think that like it's important to engage with them in like a pretty specific way, because it's like I think while it's important to recognize that certain things are the case, and that maybe that you'd want to like outside of tournament, maybe friendlies beforehand, or like tech skill before the tournament, or something like that, where it's like focus on them and put some amount of effort slash thought into them. Like see how you're messing them up. Kind of make sure that you feel like you literally can feel the inputs coming out correct when you do them and all that stuff. I
Hmm.
think that's like important to do that kind of stuff, obviously, but I think that you really need to like, for lack of better words, kind of just like come to terms with it and be like, this is how it is, and then just not process any information through that like through the framework of oh I'm messing X thing up ever. Because
Yeah.
ultimately, in a game like Melee, where I think there's a lot of stress on like mental stack and like execution's really hard, and there's a lot of different things you have to do, and you have to react quickly. It's like generally unhelpful to not just exclusively be thinking about the gameplay on the screen and the things that you know how to do and doing them, and that's all.
Hmm.
And I think that it's like if I had to like say it in a way that was maybe different, it's like one feeling that I really have with Melee is that when I'm like playing or I'm playing a tournament or whatever, and I feel like this is partly what made me a good tournament player, is that it's like when I play Melee, I'm simply just going to assume that every single thing I do is going to be um, at least good to some extent or like fulfill my desire because logically it's like I would probably not even decide to do those things like fundamentally if I didn't like agree with them, right? And obviously there's like
Hmm.
you don't know everything. You're not gonna be correct every time. But I think functioning under the assumption that like I'm gonna do the thing, I will be successful in doing the thing, and it'll be fine when you're like making the decisions is like generally gonna be the correct way to like process doing things. And then after the fact, when it's like, oh, I messed up, it's like, obviously depending on context, but like within the context of tournament specifically, you just have to be like, you literally just have to ignore it. It's like, oh, well. And I think if you apply any more value to it than like, oh, welp, then it will like detract from the overall experience. Does all that
Hmm.
like make sense?
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I think it's like it's not easy because tournaments are really really hard. There's a lot of shit going on. Melee's really really hard. There's a lot of shit going on. You have to process your emotions regarding both. But it's like I think you just kind of have to do the thing at some point and be like, well, who cares if I like am not hitting my wave shines and a shield today? I'm not. You putting effort into like trying to do something different is going to like meaningfully take away from whatever you like will actually end up doing.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah.
Like one thing that I noticed is I had to change my technique for shine out of shields in general.
Mm,
So like for the past, I think I've stabilized now because I'm pretty consistent at just hitting over shine out of shield like just well now.
nice.
Um, but like for the first couple of weeks, I couldn't even like just get like a regular JC shine out of shield
Mm-hmm.
because my technique was completely different. Like before, I would just the way I moved my hand was different. So
Yeah.
like that took a hit, and it was really hard to like keep like what's the word, to motivate myself to keep doing something new. I
Mm-hmm.
guess.
Yeah. You don't get
But
like the feedback of like I'm doing a good thing. It's just like what the fuck? Why do I suck?
hmm
Yeah. No, I
yeah.
totally get that.
Yeah, I think that this is just an extension of that, but it's like okay, it's tournament. I'm doing something different, so I have to get used to that.
Yeah. 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 I agree. I
Um,
agree.
but yeah, this set is pretty much identical to every set I've played with this person. Um, I think that it usually comes down to like I just don't hit anything that's
Mm-hmm.
like meaningful, or like if I do hit them, then I don't get anything out of it.
Yeah.
It's like my take from it.
Um.
But
Do you like when you watch these matches? Because I'm assuming you watch them back, right?
I
But
did.
when you watch them, do you feel like you're making an attempt to like kind of essentially like see if there's like a pattern at hand in the way you lose? Because like sure you mess up and you just don't get anything meaningful, and that like happens, but it's also like I think that it is important to not be like hand wavy about things like that. It's like, sure, you missed your up throw up smash, and then you didn't get, you fucking messed up, or you like didn't get the tech chase in the position where you're supposed to. But it's like when you look at those, you should like see that they happen and be like, is this just like a typical like human error thing where I have like already essentially gotten to the point where I think I can do it nearly every single time, but I just ended up messing it up? Or do you think that there's like you have to like decide if there's like a fundamental issue at play where it's like I have not visited this maybe rendition of this thing, or something about the situation maybe even prior distracted me and took away from making, doing the best thing I could or executing the best I could. And I think it's like in a situation like this where it's like you're playing the same person, and losing to them in like a similar way every single time, it's not like you're just so much worse than them, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like it shouldn't be like you're just getting skill gapped. It probably means if it's reasonably close and you feel like you're losing because you're messing things up, then it's like you could really just sit there and fix like five things and probably start demolishing the person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's like important to kind of like process situations like these through that framework, because it it like sounds kind of weird to be like you should just focus, like you should just sit here and study this guy and just practice all the things that'll let you beat this guy. But a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the time it's like, well, you probably weren't doing slash didn't know about those things prior, or weren't good at those things prior, and so this is a good opportunity to like sharpen your skills and they'll be holistically valuable. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I definitely didn't watch them back with that intention.
Mhm.
I watched it back with the intention of like ripping the band-aid off and
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like accepting the loss.
yeah, and I think that's good too. I think that's a really important part of the process too. You have to
Mm-hmm.
be down to watch you get shit on,
Mm-hmm.
but you also have to be like, well, you have to kind of like emotionally disconnect from it too. I feel like one thing that I um kind of did when I played more is it's like really maybe I wouldn't watch it the day I lost, but a lot of the time the next day I would just sit down and treat it like a normal VOD and like try and take as much as I can from it. And I feel like just being down to like kind of disconnect yourself and just do it will like make your experiences so much better, because you will not have to deal with the emotional turmoil of losing in that way as often, right?
Yeah.
Um, I think that's all I have about mentality stuff. Tournaments are hard. I think you'll just have to spend more time processing your emotions with them and like really trying to see if you can like find comfort, or like maybe, some form of comfort within them.
Yeah.
But
I'm trying to convince the TO to use ladder formats so that we can get more matches in.
yeah.
Because right now it's just a regular double elim, and I feel like that's just really bad for the player experience.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely
Um,
sucks when you're like, I go to this tournament and I want to play, and then you play four matches and they're like, I guess I'm out.
yeah, yeah. I want to try to like get some time to do TMTs or something because I think that that would be helpful, even though it's online. Like at least the experience of like pressure
Mhm.
would probably be helpful.
Yeah, I agree. I think being able to deal with pressure well is definitely important. But do you feel like the pressure is what's like that's the issue, or do you think that like
Absolutely.
okay,
I think that I care a lot about what other people think about the way that I play.
mhm,
Like the way that I see myself in the game is uh I feel like okay, I think that when I see someone else play,
yeah,
I'm usually pretty honest with how I like view them.
mhm,
Like I'm not gonna lie, I don't like think that anyone there is like amazing. Like
yeah,
I think that the people who are playing are like probably pretty good at like playing in tournaments and like they have some combos. But like outside of that, like I'm not like threatened by them. What I am threatened by is them thinking that I'm bad.
mhm,
Um so like I played some friendlies. I finally got friendlies with some of the better players there.
yeah,
I played someone called Saint Vong, and they're a fox.
mhm,
And like, not to be like a friendlies counter person, but like at first it wasn't bad at all. Like it was just like a fox, and
yeah,
I was like okay, um, like this is fine. But then at a certain point, uh I started realizing that I was like fucking shit up,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm like missing my tech chases. Like, what is this person going to think about me missing my tech chases? Like, they're going to think that I'm just like a bot."
Yeah.
And then I started to like fall to pieces, and like then the games were no longer the same. And I didn't feel like it was because they made any major adaptations. I feel like it was literally
You
just because
just started throwing, right?
I started playing bad and
Yeah.
like not even thinking about the game anymore, just thinking about outside things,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't want that to be the case. Like I
Yeah.
want to get over that and not care about what people think about the way I play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have had similar experiences with it, and I felt that way too. It's like I don't want to be the guy that I want people to be like, "Wow, he's so shitty and fucking whatever." But I think um, as you like play more, it's kind of just like you just have to kind of internalize slash realize that like people really do not give a shit, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like obviously that's what anyone's gonna say. It's like no one cares, you shouldn't care or whatever. But it's like I think it's important to realize that a lot of the time with melee players, they're just focusing on themselves and them doing their thing, and that's like the extent of it. And I don't think you have to like worry about like how people feel or think of you as long as you just like play the game doing your thing and then be a reasonable human being outside of it. Most of the time people aren't going to be like he's shit or like even have like real thoughts on your play,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah. I think that's very true.
Yeah, and obviously it's not like easier said than done. It took me fucking ages, and even now I'm like, oh my god, people probably think I suck because I haven't entered a tournament, but I don't even
Mm-hmm.
fucking play the game, right? It's like, but it's
Yeah.
like it is a thing that I think you can work through, and I think that it is you. It's possible to like on some level feel it, but also not like have it impact you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think there's a lot of times where I'm like, damn, like I just am shitting the fucking bed. These guys probably think I'm dog shit. But then it's like, I don't think that like meaningfully impacts the way I either engage with the game, the way I engage with the interactions at hand or the people or whatever. Right? I feel like I will like function the same regardless. And I think it's like important to maybe see if you can find some separation um between like the way that you like view things within the game and just like how you process the game itself. Because I think it's kind of like at the end of the day, it's you know the game functions in a static way, and I think you should treat it like that. And just these things are the case, and it's like this is like semi-related, but it's like I think having this kind of mindset is honestly applicable. But it's like it's just like these things are the case, and I know them to be true. I can make axioms to some extent or I have axioms of like how the game functions that like will stay true because the game is a system, and I think that like you don't have to like attach any like emotional value to that. It just
Mm-hmm.
like exists, right? Um,
Yeah.
and honestly, I don't have the most thoughts on like how to like prevent that because I think it's a pretty personal experience, and like everyone has like different ways that they'd like either cope or like change. But at least thinking about like um, you know, changing your perspective in some way where it's like deciding why does this matter? And I think if you like think it through, why do you think this thing matters? What would make it matter? You'll probably like end up having some amount of like cognitive dissonance, and then it'll like kind of solve the issue itself if you like realize some of the like the absurdity of some of the ways you feel, and if you can like create better habits once you figure out why they're absurd or what the absurd aspects of it are, um, it'll be a good opportunity to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, that's kind of just gonna have to be a thing that you'll like have to work through individually. But
Yeah. I think I'm trying to make strides in that. I think
mhm,
I've kind of figured out like some things.
yeah,
Like one big thing about the way that uh the way that I conceptualize like my place in the game,
mhm,
or like the way that I want to see myself in the game, I guess. Like at some point I want to be like the people that I respect.
Mm-hmm.
Like for so long, I played the game without any ability to admit what I wanted my goal to be.
Yeah.
Uh, like because I didn't want to sit here and say I want to be the best player in the world,
Mm-hmm.
because to me that was like a very scary thing. But at the end of the day, like I don't want to be like any other player. I want to be like Armada.
Yeah.
That's the only player who I truly want to be like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not in the way that he plays the game necessarily, it's in the way that he won.
Yeah.
And I think that that gets to my head sometimes. It's like I'm trying to put on really big shoes in my mind, and it like flusters me when I'm like, okay, I lost to this guy, and then I lost to them again, and then it feels like I'm already failing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that that's the way that I should go about it. Like
Yeah, I
I
agree.
shouldn't hold myself to that kind of standard.
Yeah, it's
At
like
least at least right now.
I think that you really it sucks because you want to like it's important to like dream big and have real goals that you want to accomplish. But it's also like, you know,
They're valid
you
back.
it's like yeah, it's like you are who you are now and there's nothing wrong with not being at your goal because it inherently takes time, effort, dedication, right? And it's
Hmm.
simply like the way that I kind of view it is it's like if you are dedicated, it is simply a matter of time if you're doing like the right things and being deliberate. And so it's like there's no reason to like be like, wow, I'm just not doing the thing now because that's okay. You're not gonna be able to do the thing now, but you should be like, I can't do the thing now. I'm gonna try and get better at it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like I think being really pragmatic about it and kind of like disconnecting the idea of like being something that you're not in the moment, just you are who you are and that you have to function through that and that's okay because literally everyone in the world has gone through the process. Mango has been an O2 shitter before. Maybe he didn't enter
Hmm.
a tournament and go O2, but he has literally been that skill level and then he was like, well, I have to get better. And it's just like it's just kind of a thing. Armada probably picked up the game and could not wave dash for 3 whole days. And it's like
Yeah.
that's just how it is, right? Everyone like goes through the process. They're just at like different points in it. And I don't think it's like reasonable to be like, well, fuck, I'm not hitting this goal. What am I? I'm just shit.
Hmm.
But it's like, you're the the part about it isn't hitting like the part that's valuable and like cool isn't hitting the point. It's the process that makes it like engaging and like something that you'd want to respect. Like Armada being good is really cool. It's insane that he's as good as he is and he's the fucking goat. But it's also like think about all the stuff he like you realize all the shit he did to get good and that's like where like the respect comes from, right?
Hmm.
And I think if you like kind of, you know, change the way you view it to where it's like it's about the process, you'll be like, dude, I'm doing the thing. I'm the fucking goat. I'm going through the process. I'm being deliberate. I want to get better. Caring is cool.
Hmm.
And I think
Yeah.
applying value to that. And it's good. Obviously, along the way, you want to have goals where it's like, I want to do this thing. I can do this thing. This is really cool. I'm proud of the fact that I can do this thing. Right? You want to have small goals on the way, but that like will make you feel better about it. But I think really having pride in like in your process will be what like provides you the most like um value because
Yeah.
not to be cliche, but it really is about the journey, not the destination.
Yeah.
It really, really
It's
is.
true. Because if it was something that you could just accomplish in like a matter of days, then it wouldn't be worth accomplishing at all.
Yeah, right. You wouldn't give a fuck if you could play Melee for 3 days and become the best. You'd be like, this game fucking stinks. I'd never play it, you know?
Hmm.
But,
Yeah.
but I think it's really hard. This is something that, I mean, I've struggled with. I don't even think I got the best at it before I quit. I still was like, dude, I like fucking suck. I'm not the best at all these different things. What's wrong with me? But it's like, you have to just take solace in the process and be proud of like what you are doing to improve because that's the part that's like admirable.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I think that's all I have on that. Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to add before we just look at the game?
Uh, not really. I think if I think of anything that's like super important, I'll bring it up. But right now, I think we can just take a look at the set and just see how it went.
Oh, well, cool. Oh yeah, I did want to mention this actually. I do think it's good that you're looking at your scene through like an objective lens and not trying to like lie to yourself about what they are and all that stuff. I think a big part, if you want to approach melee in the healthiest way possible, and like, in for lack of better words, reach like monkhood, where you're like truly comfortable with like yourself, the game, everything like regarding that. I think it is really, really, really important to be like as honest with yourself as possible.
Mhm.
I don't think it's easy. I think it's really hard being honest with yourself because you have to deal with being dog shit. But um, I think that it is extremely important to do it because
Yeah.
it just, if you delude yourself, you will just simply reach a point where it's like, wow, you have like so much cognitive, you get faced with like absurd cognitive dissonance when like enough bad things go wrong, and you just like have to fundamentally change the way you view the world to fix it. And that seems like a lot. Like it's why like top players, or a lot of top players, like are up and coming and then just immediately plateau once they get decent. It's because they
Mhm.
get faced with all the cognitive dissonance once they have to like actually get better, and then it's like fuck. It is like really, 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 really difficult, and most people don't like even get past that point ever. You know, and I
Yeah.
think it's easier to get better lying to yourself, but I think you will simply cap, and it'll be really bad to like actually get out of it. You'll have like a dead ass life crisis outside of the game because you know the game and yourself are ultimately really like related, right?
Hmm. I feel like I dealt with that a lot when I was like a really really shitty player
Mm-hmm.
because I think that there's only ever been one player who I romanticized,
Yeah.
and that was my friend Michael, who was like uh, better than me for my whole life at the game.
Mm.
You know, when we were casuals, and then when we started playing seriously and like or quote unquote seriously, we like didn't even wave dash, but we like cared about beating each other and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and that took a long time to like get over that. Like just
Yeah.
being like the person who like taking him at as like an objective player as opposed to like viewing him as someone who I could never beat in my lifetime, which is what I thought he was for my whole life.
Yeah.
Um, and honest, I don't feel like I romanticize anyone anymore.
Nice. I think that's really
But
good.
mhm,
Yeah. I think you're on the correct path in that sense. I just wanted to really make sure you knew because it's so important. It's something I haven't personally dealt with it, but it's like super duper duper important to like be able to like process things that way and not like put people, because I think it's important to realize that some people are really good at things and see that they're really good at things, but that doesn't like,
you don't have to put him on a pedestal.
yeah, like it doesn't really mean anything. It's just like they're good at the thing and that's cool, but it doesn't like, it's not like special in the sense that like it is not something replicable, right? It is something that you
Yeah,
could do, it's reasonable to do, and is like not easily understood but reasonably understood, or understandable, and that's kind of like how it is. Okay, we could get into the match now. Can you see my screen?
yeah, I can see it.
Okay, cool. Oh, what the heck, this has 6 minute timer, what the fuck?
Yeah, they did a 6 minute timer for the local.
That's very interesting. You messed up a running shine immediately. I feel
Yeah,
like, were you the student? No, that was a different student who was messing up running shines. Okay, I will not say anything about
I don't think I've ever messed up a running shot in my life.
that.
That's what I'm saying. This set is gonna be sloppy.
Yeah.
I'll just say that. I'm not gonna try to like John for myself too much. We
Hmm.
already talked about like the mentality going into it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I do have one thought after seeing this interaction is I think that part of being good at the Falco matchup is like being good at having a plan for when Falco shoots a laser and it like coincidentally misses you. And I think that's like
Mhm.
kind of an abstract. I can't give you the rules on what to do and every time a Falco lasers and it misses you. But I think you have to
Mhm.
like it is important to be good at like seeing the heights that Falco shoots their laser and being able to judge if it's going to hit you, and then having like an idea of what you want to do, or like having an idea of like what is happening and being engaged after something awkward like that happens. Because I think here it's like Falco goes over your head, you literally thought that you were going to stop and get hit by the laser, right? And so then once you didn't, you're like, well, fuck. And then you were like too busy thinking about the fact that like the laser didn't hit you and that the spacing changed, that you like weren't able to shield grab or shine on the shield this really high down air, right?
Mhm.
And it's like, sure, you just messed up a wave shine out of shield, but like this is kind of what I was talking about before when I was like, when these kind of trivial things, quote unquote trivial, go wrong, it's important to like take everything into account because it's easy to watch this and be like, oh, you just messed up your shine on a shield on the down air. But what I saw wasn't that you messed up your shine on a shield on the down air. It's that you were distracted by the fact that the laser didn't hit you,
Mhm.
right? And I think it's like
Yeah.
you have to be able. It's not easy. I have done this for 8 years. I've taught for fucking however many years. It's not easy, but it's really, really, really important to like try and like view the things that happen in the game as like more connected than like individual situations a lot of the time. I think it's important to check context because just like how I've explained with like practicing different variations of the same thing, it's literally the same concept, right? There's going to be different variations of the same thing and you're going to have to like be able to judge those things actively, right? And it's like, you know, if you
Mhm.
don't like take that context into account, you won't be able to see the variation, right?
Yeah.
Um, that's pretty much my thought on this. It was about I guess having a plan for not getting hit by a laser, but really it's just about like when you watch them. The big takeaway, I guess, is when you watch these matches back or you watch any match back and you see something go wrong that seems trivial, you should really like instead of being like, oh, I have to practice shine on a shield, be like, well, what actually made this go wrong? Like try and see if there's something
Mhm.
that like made it go wrong rather than, and if there isn't, okay, you just messed up. That's fine. That's the nature of being a human being. But a lot of the time there will be context. And you'll be like, wow, what one thing that Sammy says, or a story he has that I always think is really funny, is he explains how like he was doing a lesson with Kalindi, and Sammy was like, wow, you've messed up every shine after a spot dodge. And he was like, have you ever practiced like spot dodge shine? And it's like, no, I've never practiced that. Why would I practice that? I know how to fucking down B, right? But it's like,
Mhm.
it is just different. It just like matters, right? And I mean, Leffen had the same issue, which is really funny. But it's like,
Yeah.
it really just like, you know, things are connected. And
Mhm.
they may seem like they're not, but there will be like some part of them that is.
Yeah. The way I feel about that is like the game is an info stream,
Yeah,
and so as a result, like if anything happens that's like a problem, there was probably things like problems that led up to that.
yeah,
So
I
yeah,
agree.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay, that's good. Uh, is this classic mix-up? Falco shoots laser, reads you jumping the side plat. Um, just know that you don't have to full hop here. You could just wave
Hmm.
dash down, and like it's not like he can like directly hit you for wave dashing down.
Yeah.
You like laser again, and then you have to play the laser mix-up or whatever. But just know that you don't have to like full hop.
Hmm. I think that that's probably something that happens a lot.
Yeah.
My plans for playing mix-ups out of the corner are probably really bad.
Mhm. Um,
I will say I feel like one like frustrating thing about this matchup to me is I never get to play it.
yeah,
Like I was trying so hard to get practice in this matchup, and there's two kinds of Falcos. There are Falcos who I'll play for like 2 games because I don't play unranked,
Mm.
uh, unless I have to. But like if I'm just like finding people in like the Melee Online Discord,
Yeah.
there's two kinds of Falcos. Falcos who I'll play for 2 games and they'll get hit too hard, and then they'll leave and say like, "Oh, well, I'll play you when I'm better."
Uh-huh.
Or there's Falcos who will play me and then like they'll only ever play me one time is what I've
Mm-hmm.
noticed. Like they just like will play me and then they'll disappear. Like I can't like make practice partners out of them is my problem.
Yeah, yeah,
And I really don't know how to fix that. Like I asked this person to play me and they like danced around the idea of it. Like clearly they didn't want to like not play me,
yeah. Yeah.
which sucked. Like I really wish that I could just grind this matchup with someone, but I can't find
Mm-hmm.
anyone.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that is just a thing that happens, and I think you'll just have to continue sifting through the dirt until you'll find a fucking Falco that's willing to play you. It's
Mm-hmm.
just the curse of Melee being a two-player game. I think
Yeah.
it's really dumb. I do think that you can be more proactive with your solo practice to kind of like counteract this occurrence with like I being more deliberate with like things you practice or like really trying to um like fix things alone.
Mm-hmm.
I think is like a way that you can kind of not remedy but like work with this. But honestly, it's just like you just have to kind of get lucky, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe you'll have to play unranked. Honestly, I think
That's like what I stoop to.
yeah, like honestly,
And then
sometimes you'll just have to quit out on 20 people in a row until you'll find the Falco that you get to play against and really focus on the things that you want to work on.
mm-hmm.
There's not much I can say about that. It's a fucked situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think Falco is one of the annoying matchups too because he's really high maintenance. So like not actually being able to play against them like consistently makes it way way fucking harder to do the things.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally understand. I actually do have a thought here. This situation, I think, when Spacey's like jump shine your shield, it's kind of different with Falco because he's relatively likely to like um to like waveland down or waveland in the direction or something. But I think it is important to realize that when they're like jump shining, or even when they're shining in general, you know that like they have to double jump or jump in some capacity. And I think that you know you should keep that in mind and kind of change the way you play to like reflect that. Because what happens sometimes is if someone like jump shines their shield and you know they're gonna double jump, you could just see them shine and literally do double jump up air, or not double jump, full hop up air, and just like catch them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or like full hop back air and hit them, or like wave dash at a shield up till them falling down or whatever. Like that's a thing that you can't do. And obviously you don't want to do it every time because sometimes they waveland down and you just like are putting yourself in a bad position or something. But like it's important to know that that's like a thing you can do because I think I've had this issue where I like kind of just shine at a shield in the spot every time. But I think if sometimes you literally just start like full hop naring, full hop up airing, full hop bearing on a shield in this spot, or like wave dash forward and reacting, you could get a lot of value against a lot of players. Just because shiny shield doesn't hit them doing shine double jump, Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Here you mess up, but you this full hop nares. Yeah, this full hop nares is really bad. It's just the thing where you like got out of an awkward position and you're like, fuck, I don't know what's happening. And you misjudged and thought that Falco couldn't have like gone as far back as he did in the time he did. But this is something that I think I've talked about before with you. But it's like when you do full hop nares, it's like there's no difference between you naring rising and you naring falling, right? Because it's like if you're doing the full hop nair, you're going to hit Falco generally somewhere around here in the full hop, right? You're not going to hit him up right here. Well, it depends. Sometimes you will, but that's like a different situation. But like you'll never hit him up here, right here, here, right? Like you're probably gonna hit him somewhere closer to the ground, and so it's like you could delay your nair, meaning that you have more time to react, right? Like there's no meaningful difference between instant nair and falling nair in this position.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in a spot like this, it would have helped a lot because what you would have done is you probably would have like full hopped forward like this, been like, oh fuck, he rolled, and then just like double jumped the top platform and been completely safe. But instead, you get whiff punish down there, you know? Mm. Nice. No, you should grab ledge.
I don't know why.
Yeah. You could have hit the shine, but you would have had to do it differently. And I think it is a real skill being able to judge if you need to jump off or not. Because if you don't need to jump off, you don't want to jump off. It's just easier to grab ledge, you know?
I think that was a oh fuck, I could get this first stock.
After
moment,
like not getting it. Yeah.
And then I just like did some stupid shit.
Yeah. It's fine. I think you meant in there, which is whatever. If you go faster, you can whiff punish this rising down with bear. You just have to like you would have to start like jumping like now and do rising bear, but you did a slightly delayed one. Or throw. I don't think you play the mix up here. Doing this jump shine, you like it didn't really do anything. I think what you could have done is full hopping here is totally fine, but you have to like. I think how I do it at least is generally if I'm gonna full hop like this, I'll turn my back and then do backflip and then put myself right here and decide if either I want to like do double jump bear or something to read high up B or like double jump back to stage and like hit side B or something like that. Or like potentially like pretty much those two things. And I feel like you picked one that was like in the middle where you like full hopped and then double jumped and then it's like then you try to hit the bear and it's like well no to hit the up B when you do this full hop you have to like hit them out of a startup. You full hop like this, you're drifting back and then you do double jump rising bear to hit them, right? So it's like you try to do the thing where it's like I try to hit bear anyways, but you hit the bear before it even starts moving. Now the way you change the position like would change. I feel like you could have wiggled out. I don't think you need the tech. On the shine, like you could have wiggled out like now instead of hitting teching, because then you teching just like increases your chance of death exponentially.
I think I'm really bad at wiggling out.
I
noticed versus Peach, like I feel like Peach gets combos on me that she just shouldn't.
Yeah.
So need to work on that.
I think your invincibility is pretty bad. You like
I didn't
just like
hit them at all.
Yeah, you just like dash dance, and it's like, well, I guess you're technically waiting for an approach, but I don't think that's like, you're invincible. I don't think this is the way that you'd want to win it. You'd probably do something preemptive, like a nair in place or something to read them, like approaching or like trying to run through or something. And then like the way that you like set up pressuring the corner it was like super not direct. And I feel like what I would have done is I'd see them go on ledge, immediately dash forward and just wave dash down here and like play from that position. But instead you can like dash dance there and then you're like, I think I'm gonna nair late on their ledge dash, and it's like all really awkward, And it doesn't feel good watching it. And you could have literally gotten shined and like started eating shit, right? Nice. Yeah. This is such a classic Fox Falco interaction. They just fucking scope out jumps to the side platform, and I think you have to be really good at like judging whether they want it or not, and like doing stuff like wave dash down at a shield or just sit there, like make them hit you, Nice. That's fine. That was not fine, I think. Yeah, I think once you get to this spot, you have to turn your back. And, like, because I think you did that in there to cover side B. It could have potentially hit straight, but no, it was to hit the up B. But if you want to hit the up B, you have to do turn around and then bear, because Nair doesn't hit high enough. Nair is hitting, like, let's see, on this frame. Look how low it's hitting, right? His up B started up here, right? He wouldn't get hit by it. But if you do bear, then your bear would hit up here, which would actually hit the straight. So doing turn around bear there is really important. And then if you do the turn around bear, you could still do this bear that hits sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. That was awkward, but you just messed up. No.
I'm gonna hit Falco on a platform.
Also, this is another position where you could have wiggled out here. Since they like drop their combo, you could just wiggle out and fall to the ground. Because, you know, if you drift forward, stage is right here, right? Stage is right here. So all you have to do is wiggle out, drift forward, and like play from there. And I think it's obviously not easy to tell without knowing, because you can't see below you. But you know what Dreamland looks like. You know how Dreamland is. You just wiggle out and land right here, and then you're in like a significantly better position than double jumping. Yeah. Honestly, with this up air, the biggest negative sentiment I have isn't even like the up air inherently. It's that you got out of an awkward position that was not good for you and decided to put yourself back into one. And I think you should, like, when you are lucky enough or fortunate enough to like get taken out of a really awkward spot, you should really, really think about if you want to actually engage or not. Because, like, at least in my eyes, I see this position where I like roll and show drop and like am out. I'm like, damn, I want to be out. So I would literally do dash back, full hop, rising bear, and land somewhere near the center. And I'd be like, I'm safe, right? Or I'd do something like, you know, dash back, shield stop, rising bear, and then drift towards center. It's like I would do something safe that disengages me, and I just am like, I'm free. I don't want to like have to deal with it, you know? But by doing this up air, look at this, you're just like, I'm going to throw myself back into like awkward stuff where it's like unclear what is happening, you know? Up tilt is not a good combo. Here, you could either dash attack or let them hit the ground and tech chase. It's like, yeah, that's just kind of it. Honestly, I'm not really sure why you full hopped here. I feel like once you have them in this spot, you know they're spot dodging. You don't have to, like, full hopping doesn't accomplish anything, right? Because it takes so long for you to go up and come down. I would be like, damn, I see them spot dodge like this. I'm just going to do another short hop bear on their shield, right? Do short hop late bear. It, like, this gives you the opportunity to set up that. But full hop is too slow to, like, try and do it effectively. So you see how they were able to, like, full hop, you know?
Yeah.
I think that is important to keep in mind. You know, fighting out of awkward scrambles, go to ledge. Everyone do. Nice. Good corner play. I feel like the way you played once you got out of the corner wasn't very good. I don't think you paid that much attention. Because it's like you're here, they're there. You know, this Nair doesn't really like, it hits them doing one thing, which is like them like dash jumping off immediately. But if you look at the position, I feel like they just bared and you went over them. It's pretty unlikely for them to like immediately try and hit you, right? They're probably thinking about like, oh man, I got juked. I have to like defend myself now, right? Just because the context of the situation is literally like, oh, I like, what's it called? I tried to be aggressive and they avoided me effectively. I'm now on the back foot, right? Like logically, that's kind of how it works. So I feel like it's kind of unreasonable for you to like read this option that like is them being aggressive from that spot. You know,
Mm.
I feel like what I think you could have done that would be slightly better is like once you end up here, you could just if you really want to hit them for coming off the platform, why not just like dash dance and like set up a decent position and like play an advantage spot out when you see them jump, right? You don't have to do it super preemptively.
Yeah.
And then because of that, you like ended up in this awkward position where you tried to like maybe space around this nair, and I think did you turn back? You did, yeah. Where you tried to like do that, and it's like, well, that didn't even need to happen. I do think once you got out of this position, what I would have done is like dashed back and then full hopped over, and then like tried to land on top of the nair instead of wave dashing away. The wave dash kind of took up a lot of the time, and you like didn't dash out of it either. You like walked. That ended up being awkward. Mm, this grab didn't really make that much sense to me. It just like didn't have a chance of hitting. If they're able to like move out of the way and like start lasering, like the laser might come out before you're grabbing. Yeah, you literally got true whiff punished, right? It's like if they're able to dash back and laser before your grab like was out of lag, I feel like there wasn't really a good chance of it hitting because that means that there's a lot of time that had elapsed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm pretty sure you like saw them roll and were like, I can get them, but it's like look at the timing. You were not even remotely close to hitting it right. And this could be attributed to like tournament stuff and like it's harder to judge things in tournament or well, but I guess kind of again when it's like you're watching back, I feel like a big thing that I've seen is there's a lot of spots where you're like clearly seeing that something happened, but like not thinking of what the like time frame outcome will be well. Like there's a first interaction where Falco rolled from the right side of the stage and you were coming up from the platform and then you did a full hop rising there in the center stage and the Falco was like clearly out of the way of it. It's like that was like a situation where you saw the Falco roll, but you like didn't do a good job judging how much time had like elapsed, like how much time had elapsed before you were like able to do anything about it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think that's a common problem for me.
And I think that's one of the biggest things with like learning how to like screen look effectively is like you can see things now, but you have to like make decisions based off precisely what is happening. Because I think like it's easy to be like, oh, he's doing X action generally, but you really have to look and be like, at what exact point in X action are they, and what does that mean for me? And those are things that you kind of have to do like outside of the game too. It's not like you're going to play the game and be like, I see Falco this far into his role, I'm going to do this. It's like, no, you have to plan that out, right? That's like you have to have an idea of what like each different kind of type of position means for your decision, right? And obviously, I'm not telling you to look at every single frame relative, but you just have to do it enough times for you to get like a strong enough sense of it to where you can do it well, maybe every single time, right? At least 9 times out of 10. But that was a fine up tilt. Up smash. I think you should have up smashed. Just because if they DI in, they die. And if they DI out, they're off the stage and die. This position too. Once you grab ledge and you realize that they drop low, you could refresh on reaction to that, and so you can get an invincible bear. Because this position means death a lot of the time. Because if you get like clipped by Falco up here, you literally just bounce off the stage and die instantly.
Yeah.
So understanding that like once Falco is under the stage without a double jump, he can't side B, so you can refresh safely. Then it'll make that position a lot better. Don't go to the platform. Oh, you did it.
Yeah. I think it's just a fat habit.
Yeah. Something you should start being comfortable with is honestly like wave dashing away towards the edge and then like teetering and kind of like holding that spot and seeing like reacting. Since they're creating space, you have more time to react, and I think it's good to be able to. And down there, up there. Okay, they did a different combo tree. Wave dash. Oh, wave dash grab's a really weird decision. You should just wave dash shine. I did not mean to unmute it. Jump shine. Oh. A lot of the time when you hit Falco with soft bear like this, and they kind of end up in this spot, you could just instantly do like dash forward, dash back, short hop off shine, and hit this spot because they're forced to either side B here or like air dodge. And a lot of the time, if they're not close enough to this like to the stage to air dodge, they just guaranteed get shined. Is that, can you like visualize that after the soft bear you just like jump off shine?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. Nice. No. You jumping off preemptively wasn't good, but I also think that you could fix it by like once you realize you jumped off super early, you could like decide to like drop further and then double jump forward shine. Right? You don't have to like give up and try and bear or something. Can you see how you could like double like drop slightly lower than just double jump forward shine?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like a thing you could do to like fix positions like this sometimes. Oh. There's a spot where I think out of shield you reacted pretty poorly. It's like they down smashed your shield, right? It's like, you know, it's gonna put them far away. It's a smash attack. So you can't just shine to shield it. And so I would have been like, oh, short hop, late bear. But then you shine and you end up getting no punish, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not that you didn't react to the down smash, but it's that like you didn't kind of take into account like the inherent properties or qualities of down smash, where it's like it's a smash tag. When it hits your shield, it pushes them away. What is like that, you know, meaningfully changes how you'd have to do something about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Read double jump, yeah, it's a hard position. I like that you didn't full hop, but rolling forward was not good. You should wave dash back or down here. I feel like this invincibility is kind of a similar thing. You just like dash dance and then like see that they go to ledge and you're like, time to run over the edge, but why not set up like good corner pressure, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. They're dead if you grab ledge. Nice. Okay. Last stock. You juke them. Nice. And you do the thing that I talked about, by the way, or when you juke them like this, you just dash dance and check, right? And guess what? You avoided them doing that laser, and I was like totally fine, you know. Uh-oh. You rolled into a laser shine. I think you meant to wave dash out of shield, but yeah. No, you missed your up throw. Oh. No. This is like fine. Not really. I feel like you didn't react to the timing of that. So I guess the idea to up smash in this position is fine, but the issue is you didn't realize that like when the position first started where you like dash back shield dropped, that like that meaningfully changed the spacing that you would do it from, and thus like it made it not work. Because if you kind of realize how like if you had ran off the platform, you'd be like right around here, you know? If you were there, this up smash would have actually made sense and been a good read. But since you went further back, the way you play it have to change, right? It's like not the same situation. So it's kind of another case, it's slightly different from the other ones, but another case of like you not properly judging like the exact qualities of the situation, and so then it like makes a decision that seems reasonable seem pretty bad. Because it's not that like up smashing here is inherently bad, but it's that since you were as far away as you were, it's just like a different situation. And you see how if you were like the distance that you were like the distance between you like dashing forward off the platform and dash back shield dropping is literally the distance between, we could look, it's like probably a little bit, maybe like, you know, 5/6 of the platform. If we look at where you up smash relative to the Falco, that's the exact distance, right? And so it's like, it's not like you made a poor decision inherently, but it's that your decision was not actually that tied to like what the situation truly was. Um, does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's not like it's just you just have to realize that and like fix it, right? It's like, oh, I'm watching this back. I did this thing. Why didn't it work? It didn't work for that reason. Okay, I now understand this thing better, and like it gives you like a way to process information, a new way to process information and stuff. Because really, with screen looking, you just have to like do it and then like widen your like horizons essentially. You just see more and you realize that situations tend to play out a certain way from different ways, and it gives you like something to work off of.
Hmm.
This is fine. And you messed up twice. Insane. That was a good forward tilt. Yeah, they read the fuck out of you going to platform too. Go straight. Oh, I read the fuck out of straight. Yep. And then the last interaction is you getting red going to side plat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I do feel like in that match you played much worse than any other time I've seen you play. So that's that. There honestly wasn't even that much that I had to say about the Falco matchup itself. It's just like, I guess it's just like, continue to practice the tech skill that you do with screen looking stuff. Try and like really see if you could tell like the different qualities of each situation and like give them like assign them real value and like think them through and stuff, and do that as much as you can. And then I know we talked a lot about mentality stuff, but I mean honestly I think it'd be best if we were to talk about that again. You should just like DM me and I could tell you my thoughts and all that stuff, because it's not like it's easy, but and it's something I have a lot of experience, obviously having played the game, blah blah blah. So I could give you my thoughts or whatever. Do
Okay.
you have any closing thoughts?
Uh, no, I think that this gives me a lot to work with. I think
Nice.
I think it's helpful just to look at the game, like the game, this particular match very objectively, and just look at it for what it was.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. The next time I'm gonna go to this tournament will be Wednesday, so
Oh,
I'll
nice.
try I'll try to put this stuff into practice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, I'll try to get some more like friendlies in with Falcos before then.
Yeah, really. Try your
Hmm.
best. It's rough out here.
Hmm.
And also with the mentality stuff, really, really, it's super important. Really try not to like feel bad about your skill level or be like this person thinks I'm ass or really even worry about what people think. It's not
Yeah.
meaningful at all. People probably aren't even thinking it, right? It's just like you don't have to like
Hmm.
even it's not even a thing that you have to worry about.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna keep working on that.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I'll try to schedule.
I
I'll look at
think
my
you
schedule
have
and
already
schedule.
scheduled both, right? Or
Did I?
maybe it was someone else. I've gotten a few. Let's see. Oh no, 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 no. It was okay. It was someone else. Oops. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah. I
probably
mean,
just do like next Wednesday or something. I don't know.
yeah.
We'll
Just
see.
whenever you can. It doesn't really, as long as it's the. I do have to say, I'm not available the 23rd, 24th, or 25th. I have to change to that. So try not to have it
Okay.
on those days. I think it's a Wednesday,
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday.
Yeah. I'll keep that in mind then.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna get going then.
Okay. Good luck. Um. Have a good rest of your week.
Yeah. You too.
Thank you. Later.
Laters.